Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to talk about presidential autographs. So this video is going to be very exciting because we're going to talk about presidents from all around US history, and we're going to get started in a little bit, but the first autograph is going to be from James Madison towards modern US presidents. So I'm quite excited, and let's get started. So the first president I'm going to share is James Madison. So here it is. This is a signed land grant by James Madison. He was our fourth president of the United States. A little bit of fun fact about James Madison: he's actually the author of the U.S. Constitution, and so this is signed by him. Land grants were signed by presidents early on U.S. history. Later, Andrew Jackson would have a secretary sign it, and every president after Andrew Jackson, a secretary would sign it. So, presidents would sign thousands and thousands of these land grants. So these are actually pretty common and quite special, nevertheless. This is a quite expensive document, and they would actually sign thousands. So, very cool. And actually, if you read it, tells you the territory. So this is the Indiana territory. So very cool. Yeah, very exciting. So the president after James Madison is James Monroe. And here's another land grant. And this is the signature, James Monroe. James Monroe. So this is in much better condition. This is actually framed. I would like to have all of them framed, but they're quite expensive to get them framed. So it's a slow process. I usually buy the mat and then the photo and then the frame, and that's how I usually do it. Because it's quite expensive to do it that way and to do it all together. So that is the signature of the commissioner of the land grant office, and this is, you can see, Orange County. And yeah, the important is in the signature in these documents. Very cool. Another land grant. So the president after James Monroe is John Quincy Adams, and John Quincy Adams, this is his signature. Quite exciting. This is his short autograph. John Quincy Adams had two autographs or two signatures. He would actually write his full name, and here you can see J. Adams, but he would sometimes write the complete autograph. This is another land grant, but this is actually not a complete land grant. It's actually missing part of the document, but it's partially complete. The important thing is the signature is still bold. As you can see, you can barely read out what it says, but luckily the signature is still bold and in good condition. And next to that, that's his portrait. That's his official portrait of the White House. And yeah, very exciting. John Quincy Adams is a very important president as he is the author of the Monroe Doctrine, and and John Quincy Adams was involved in politics pretty much all his life. His father was John Adams, our second president, and John Adams actually brought John Quincy Adams towards diplomatic um, meetings and towards France and many other places in Europe. So John Quincy Adams saw at a very young age many things. So he actually worked after his presidency as a member of Congress. So that's really cool. And there's a movie called La Amistad, which is about a boat, a Spanish vessel. Um, and John Quincy Adams represented the slaves of that Spanish vessels uh, in the Supreme Court. And it's a very famous story. It's many historians consider it the first step towards ending slavery. And John Quincy Adams, even though he was in his 80s, he represented those people for 2 days in the Supreme Court, talking for over 8 hours in the Supreme Court, making his argument. And he considered that argument as one of his most important accomplishments of his life. La Amistad. If you haven't watched that movie, it's a really good movie. It's from the 90s, written or directed by Steven Spielberg. But yeah, really, really cool. So the president after John Quincy Adams is Andrew Jackson. Here's his signature, Andrew Jackson. And this is another land grant. Andrew Jackson was the last president who signed land grants. This is, let's see, 1850, 1829. Sorry about that, 1829. Yeah, around 1830, Andrew Jackson stopped signing land grants. So that's his official portrait of the White House, and that's the land grant. So very exciting. Andrew Jackson is a quite difficult president to acquire. His signature is quite well, as you can see, it's complete. You can see Andrew Jackson, and quite a fast signature. You can see very fast. As you can imagine, he was signing a bunch of these documents, probably thousands. So he would have to sign them really quickly. So, and nevertheless, it's quite a elegant signature, a complete signature, and yeah. So the president after Andrew Jackson is Martin Van Buren, and this is a signed cut autograph by Martin Van Buren. This is a quite a difficult autograph to acquire, as his signature is quite tough to get. But this is a cut autograph, so and this was probably a letter signed by him, but we only have this left, so it's unknown what was the rest of the document. But very interesting. If you remember, I was talking about the La Amistad of John Quincy Adams. Martin Van Buren was president during that court case, and he was against John Quincy Adams. So you can imagine the tension between those two individuals. And yeah, very interesting. Here's his signature. You see, very fast signature, very elegant. I actually really like his autograph. You can see the M, Martin Van Buren. So very cool and interesting. So I'm not going to go in order because there's many documents that are actually not in order. But this is another document. This is actually signed by Taft and William Howard Taft. He was president after Theodore Roosevelt, and he was just a one-term president, and he later became the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. He actually never wanted to be president, but he ran for president because of Teddy Roosevelt, And Teddy Roosevelt, after he left, he actually wanted to get back in the U.S. presidency and ran against ran against Taft and divided the Republican ticket, and that made Woodrow Wilson win. And this is a document signed by Woodrow Wilson. Here's his signature. Um, Not in very good shape, but this is I believe, a naval appointment. Um, and yeah, you can see the name of the individual. And this is 1915. And yeah, I really like these documents because um, they're really elegant. You can see the the amount of detail. Very interesting. So, like I said, I'm not going in any particular order. This is a Calvin Coolidge autograph. And you can see Calvin Coolidge. This is a cut autograph by him. This is his official portrait of the White House. And yeah, so here's another very interesting president, Herbert Hoover. A lot of people know the Hoover Dam. Well, this is Herbert Hoover. This is a letter that was actually written after his presidency. He lived a really long life, so most documents that you see will be written after his presidency, and a very elegant signature. You see Herbert Hoover, and this letter, and that's his official portrait. So here's another president, Gerald Ford, and now this is a more modern president. Like I said, I'm not going in any order. Um, Now just showing the autographs. Gerald Ford was actually never elected into office, technically. Well, never elected as the president. Um, Richard Nixon resigned, and Gerald Ford was the president after Richard Nixon. Here we have another interesting document. This is a document signed by Dwight D. Eisenhower, a complete signature. Dwight D. Eisenhower had several signatures, and one of them were just his initials, and this is actually his complete autograph. This is a very nice autograph, and this was written before he was inaugurated as president. So you can see the letter is actually talking about his election of November 4th, and he was actually inaugurated a little bit after this. So very interesting, very cool. So here's the next autograph, and I'm going to try to share this as better as possible that I can. This is actually a book signed by him. This is the deluxe edition of Mr. Citizen. So let me put the camera down and take this off. So this is the book. Here's the autograph of Harry S. Truman. So this is another president, and this is a more modern president, Bill Clinton, and this is his signature, a very quick signature, Bill Clinton, and yeah, everybody should know who he is. And this is a book that he wrote after he was president, and this is really a modern book. He wrote this around 10 years ago, I think. And yeah, this is his autograph. Here we have another autograph. This is Jimmy Carter. We have his signature. And if you want to get started with collecting presidential autographs, you should get Jimmy Carter. He's the most common president. Here we have another book, um, Keeping Faith, and here's his short autograph. If you can get his full autograph, Jimmy Carter, it's actually worth quite more. Um, this autograph is worth around maybe 50, and Jimmy Carter signed probably millions of autographs. He signed pretty quick, and he would try to sign as many as possible because he wanted um, many people to have his um, autograph. Um, so yeah, very cool. Here's his photo and Jimmy Carter. Here we have another president, Lyndon B. Johnson. This is a very exciting autograph. Um, we have Lyndon B. Johnson. This is his complete autograph. Um, a, his autograph is very interesting. Um, it looks, in my opinion, weird as but yeah, this is his initial, and a and this is his full autograph. This is signed by using a book plate. So this is actually not signed directly into the book, but just a book plate. So you can see the book plate, and yeah, very very cool. The next president we have is Richard Nixon. Here's a book signed by him. And you can see his complete autograph, Richard Nixon. Um, very interesting. And this is his initial. Many letters that he wrote are actually signed by using his initial. And actually doesn't have a photo of him. I wanted to share a photo. Well, it's going to be a little bit complicated, but everybody should know how Richard Nixon looks. So very cool. Here we have another autograph. This is an autograph by George H.W. Bush and Barbara Bush, his wife. And this is his signature. Very basic signature, but this is basically how he signed most documents. And he would maybe add a little bit more detail. You can see the B, and then it's a line. And better autographs, he would actually write his last name a little bit better. But this is the document. Well, this is a signed cookbook. It's the Bush family cookbook. So I'm currently in another location. This is actually my room, and I have this framed. This is an FDR signed picture photograph by him, and this is actually signed to a newspaper in Cuba. And so very cool, a newspaper in Cuba. And this is actually framed, and above that is his last portrait. So this is his last portrait. He actually passed away a few hours after this. This is the reason why this portrait wasn't actually finished, because his head hurt while the artist was painting him, and he took a break and actually passed away that day. And so very sad, that very interesting. And below that is his autograph. You can see there. So here's another one. I already shared a book signed by Harry S. Truman, and here's his autograph. And this is a signed also by Thomas Dewey. And this is a famous newspaper, and I'll make a separate video about this. This is a newspaper that was mistaken, and they actually thought that Dewey was going to win the election. And here's a very famous photo of Harry Truman holding in this newspaper right here. And yeah, and the Chicago Daily Tribune sent a bunch of people and to destroy these newspapers in the early morning because they were very confident late at night, and they printed thousands of these and destroyed pretty much all of them. And not all of them, there are a couple hundred of these that survived, but very interesting. This is an original newspaper of that time, and the reason why I'm showing it is because here we have a cut autograph of Harry S. Truman. And while I'm showing you this, here we have some political posters. Here we have Ronald Reagan, "Make America Great Again," or "Let's Make America Great Again," the slogan that Donald Trump used in the 2016 presidential election and the 2020 and then 2024 presidential election. This is George H.W. Bush, and we have Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, and we have Woodrow Wilson. And this is in very bad shape, but very rare. Right now, that I'm basically showing some documents, and this is a New York Times first atomic bomb. Very cool. You can see August 7th, 1945. Very cool. Very important moment in US history. So I'm going to also share, I have some medals that the US Mint made uh, for the US presidents. And here are uh, many of them, and not most of them. I'm missing quite a lot. Here's Thomas Jefferson, Teddy Roosevelt, Harry S. Truman, and many others, Lyndon B. Johnson. And I even have some that are not standing up. But yeah, we have Herbert Hoover and several others here.